Hi everyone, and welcome. My name is Molly. Thank you for joining me today. So today, this will be a short, about 15-20 minute focus on our hips. We will mobilize them, we will stretch them, and we will strengthen them. Okay? So let's start first in a comfortable seated position. Feet can be together, knees can be out to the side. If you have blocks nearby, you could have those underneath. And take a moment here to focus. You're welcome to have the eyes closed if that helps to focus. Notice the breath, notice the body. And since we're focusing on our hips in this one, go ahead and bring your awareness to it. If it helps to actually have hands on, to bring that awareness in with a little tactile aid, go for it. So when we think about our hips, think about like all the sitting that might be happening, maybe a tightness in the hips. And so often we approach tightness with just stretching it out. And so taking some time today to also mobilize in the hips as well as strengthen around the hips so that we're really getting a holistic approach to taking care of our hips. They have a lot of work to do. They carry us around. The psoas is the muscle that connects our upper body to lower body. It's the muscle that allows us to move forward. So paying special attention to it today. Taking one breath and let it go. If your eyes are closed, go ahead and open them. You can let the hands rest wherever it's comfortable for you. And then start just a little butterfly here, bringing that awareness into the hips, moving. If you prefer a little larger or slower paced butterfly, you can also take that. Just notice what's happening there. Okay, always staying curious, judgment free, and seeing what nuances come up for us. Then when you're ready, hands on the outsides of the legs, extend the legs out in front of you, give them a little shimmy shake, and internally and externally rotate as well. Okay, so here we go. Taking the feet, they're about hips distance apart. That's going from the hip sockets, not the outside of our hips. And we're going to spin the legs out so the pinkies start to reach down towards the ground. Pinky toes start to reach down towards the ground. That movement's coming from our hip joints, okay? Then bring them in, internal rotation. Mounds of the toes can find each other. Maybe they find the floor, and we'll take that again. Take it out and in. Take it out, external rotation, in, internal rotation, right? Feel that work happening in the hips. Again, if it helps to have your hands on your hips, you can start to feel the muscles that are engaging and initiating that movement. Yeah, take 3 more, and 2, and 1 more. Good. Take it outside, external rotation, and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Internal rotation, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, little wiggle, little shake. Yeah? All right. Bending one leg, bring it in, and hold on to your hamstring. You can do that by clasping the hands underneath the hamstring. You could also wrap the arms around it, yeah? Whichever feels best for you. And you can start to circle the knee around in the hip joint. One direction and then the other. And around you go. Now this is also happening with hip flexion, right? So we're bringing a little more vocabulary into the joint, a little bigger range of motion or more varied range of motion. All right, and then hold the knee close to the body. So we're taking the flexion that normally happens in the hip and exaggerating it a little bit, bringing a little more tension into it. Sometimes we need that extra tension before we're able to release it. All right, and then take that leg down, a little release, a little bounce, a little wiggle, a little shake. Let's do the other side, okay? Again, holding on with the hands or with your forearms, and circle around. One direction and then the other. Taking that same rotation, nice and steady. Again, we have a little more flexion, a lot more flexion happening in our hip. And so adding some more vocabulary into the hip joint itself. All right, then hold that leg in, exaggerating that flexion that we often have while we're seated in our cars or at our desks, in front of the TV, wherever it happens to be. And then release that down. All right, little wiggle, little shake. Let's go back to that original leg. Still working to mobilize here. So this time, lifting the ankle, bringing it over the opposite thigh. And we have our knee falling out to the side. Bottom leg can stay active. I'm going to turn slightly. Here we go. All right, so the hand can guide here. You can hold on to your forefoot and then bring the knee to the chest and then away from the chest. To the chest and then away. Yeah? 3 more. And 2. And last 1. Let's adjust to a baby cradle of our lower leg. So you can hold on, continuing with the hand holding on to your foot. You can also take the foot into the crook of your elbow. Baby cradle, yeah? We see it? And you can take a little rock here. Little movement. Keeping the spine as long as possible. You can also release out a little bit if that feels better. You could use a rope or a belt. Here we go. For 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Release that out. All right, shake it out. Wiggle. Other side. Bring it in. Okay. Starting with taking your ankle over the opposite thigh, and with it, let the ankle be in a neutral, let the foot be in a neutral. Hand is here to support your foot, and then guide the knee, bringing it in and down. And every side is going to be a little bit different. And that's all right. We've got these imbalances in our body. We're going to honor them. We're going to listen to them as we take 2 more. And last 1. Now switch to that baby cradle, adjusting, holding on with your hand or taking your foot into your elbow. Little baby cradle, little rock the baby, rock the lower leg. Spine is long, breath is steady. And again, staying curious about any imbalances, any new sensations that exist on this side that maybe didn't exist on the other. Part of our bodies naturally adapting to our environments. For 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Take that leg out. All right, little shake, little wiggle. All right, let's take ourselves around and take a moment into your child's pose, however you'd like to get there. Take the arms forward. Now, as you're in your child's pose, notice the crease in the hips, all right? We can play a little bit more with acknowledging this. Taking one hand, take your thumb into the crease of the hips and just give yourself that awareness of the fold that happens there. Talk about hinging at the hips a lot, right? And so this is letting the spine still be long and that fold, that hinge is happening right at the hip joint. You might notice you can be aware of your pelvis as well as the trochanter's in there, your thigh bone is in there, and acknowledging that those things are working towards each other, yeah? Try that on the other side. Acknowledging what's in the hip joint, that fold, that hinge. Noticing any bony landmarks that might be helpful for you. Sometimes I like to think about folding the top of my pelvis to meet my thigh bone. I don't think that's at all possible, but the image at least really helps me when I'm working to get the crease in the hips. And then why don't you take both thumbs into your hip creases. Let there be a little bit of pressure back. I'm pressing my thumbs into the hip joints, letting the spine be long. And then I can let my head rest. And just notice what it is, maybe a little deeper hinge there, okay? on up. And from here, I'm going to adjust again, taking your leg out to the side, opposite arm out as well. Okay. From here, take a moment to breathe. And then go ahead and lift the leg off the ground, lift the arm off the ground. Holding here for 5 and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go ahead and adjust into your bird dog. Holding here for 5 and 4, 3, 2, 1. Fingertips and toes come down. Then lift back up. We'll reverse this. Lifting up for 5. Bird dog. 4, 3, 2, 1. Then out to the side. Holding there for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Leg comes down. Hand comes down. Keep the leg out to the side. Shift back. Funky child's pose. Getting into the inner thigh a little bit more here. And so when we think about our hips, we often think of the hip flexor. Let's not forget all of the glutes around the hip that are also supporting, strengthening, and allowing us to move through, okay? One more breath here. And you know we should do this on the other side, yeah? Here we go, switch it. Bringing the leg opposite one out, opposite arm and leg out to the side, so we're bringing some asymmetry into the body, knowing that our core is activated when we're asymmetrical. And then lift up, arm and leg. Nice. 3, 2, 1. Shift into your bird dog and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it on down. Hold. 2 and 1. Reverse it. Lift up, bird dog. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Out to the side for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it on down. Shift yourself back. Funky child's pose. Now with your foot, depending on the flexibility in the ankle, you can see I have pretty flexible ankles, so I am able to keep my foot flat, but listen to your body, adjust accordingly. Maybe you rock onto the inside a little bit more. Either way, focus on what's happening in the hip joint itself and what feels best for you. One more breath. And come back to your child's pose, bringing the working leg back in underneath. Take a moment here. When you're ready, come up to a kneeling position next. Okay? So I call these penguins because I think we look like penguins when we do them. And what I love about them is that it really isolates our core. Now, core is pretty much everything but our arms and our legs. Depending on whose theory you look at, it also includes our inner thighs. Everything that's happening around the hips, glutes, hip flexors, that is part of our core. So it isolates our core in a way that really asks our ankles to not be a part of it and allows us to focus on what's happening around the hips, okay? So taking the right knee off the ground, here we go. Right knee comes off the ground, send it back behind you, then the knee comes around, so you're drawing a really big circle with it. Notice what's happening in your standing leg, standing knee, I guess, and that's working to keep you upright. Whoop, and step into a low lunge here. Right, we're going to try taking it back. Arms can be out to the side to catch yourself, counterbalance. Notice what's happening around the hips. Lift that leg off the ground, working leg, taking it out to the side, and then taking it to rotate all the way down. Nice. So here we go, other side. Lift the leg back, lift it up, and every side's going to be different. Okay, maybe you notice hamstrings are working a little harder on this side. Maybe you have a little more counterbalance happening in the body. Maybe it's a smooth landing. There you go. Let's take it back. Big circle. letting this help the body naturally. Everything's firing that needs to fire to keep you upright. Arms are here. We've got that protective extension built into us so that we'll catch ourselves if we fall. Nice, and down. So we'll take it again. Option, you can keep the knee bent, or if you want a little extra challenge, you can extend the leg with it. I'm going to try it. We'll see how it goes. Anytime we work with an extension, that's adding a little extra resistance, right? So if you hold, a 5-pound weight and do bicep curls, that feels very different than if we are taking our 5-pound weights out, right? Holding a 5-pound weight out here versus in here, very different experience, similar to what we're doing with our leg, okay? So taking one leg behind you, maybe you keep the knee bent, maybe you extend the knee, and then slowly work it all the way around. So we're really getting the hip, strengthening it from all directions. Both of them are working, one to stabilize, one to move. There it is, and we come down. Last time, maybe extend the leg again, taking it out, seeing what kind of lift you can get there, taking the leg around, breathing. Notice if you've been holding your breath, that's a way that we our body will sneakily hold our breath as a way to create some stability in our core. All right, so see if you can keep breathing. Last time, here we go. Take the last leg behind you. Maybe the knee is bent. Maybe you're hopping over that little Tupperware. You can also take the leg long, breathing, and coming on down. Notice everything that works around the hip joint. Last time, here we go, up and out. Breathing steady. And bringing it all the way back in. Nice, everyone. All right, let's take a moment to stretch. Taking one leg forward, I'll go sideways. Taking one leg forward, and take a cat-cow here with the spine. Notice how the cat and cow impacts your front hip, the hip that you're stretching right now. So you can take the spine back, arching, and then round the spine. So bring the head and tail, top of the head, tailbone closer together. Notice how that really targets the hip slightly differently than when the spine is in a neutral. Same again, arc it, feel a new sensation in the hip, and then round it over. Coming back into a neutral, come forward, take the front leg down, and fold forward into a pigeon. Holding here for 5, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's do that same thing on the other side. So bringing the left leg forward. Okay, here we go. Working hip, the hip we're focused on, neutral spine, then arch the spine, notice what changes for you, and then round the spine, head, tail closer together. Notice what's happening in your hip. One more, open up, and round. And then neutral spine, coming forward, front leg comes down into a pigeon, holding here for 5, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take it on back to your child's pose, everyone. Three breaths in child's pose. When you're ready, coming up to grab a seat, same place we started, feet together, knees out to the side. Maybe float the eyes closed. Notice if anything's changed for you. Notice what's happening in the hips. Taking a collective breath, inhale, and exhale. Thank you all very much for joining me. Hope your hips are feeling healthy. Take care of yourselves. Until next time.